How's it going, guys? Today is Sunday, January 10th. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of the stream, we're just going to put out a Sunday watch list video. And so this is from members, and this is from people that I know, people sending me charts, people sending me names. And so we'll get into a bunch of different charts. This is Patrick, and you're trading with Prime. Okay, let's get straight into it. I'll try to run through these pretty quick, so just bear with me here. So first thing I look at is MU. It's Micron Technology. This thing has been an absolute beast. We've loved this, trading this really both directions, but recently to the upside, it's been quite phenomenal. The last day though, on Friday, we did have a reversal candle, so that's something to keep in mind. That's the very first thing I look at. In fact, all of these charts, I'm going to give you the very first thing that I see on the chart and something to be mindful of. Try to give you a little bit of awareness on the other side of the trade. Anyway, so what I'm looking at right here is we're definitely in an uptrend. The only thing I would consider is that this is a reversal candle on the daily. It almost looks like a weekly. If I go to the week here, let's take a look. And we have a similar reversal candle on the week. It would have been nice to see the high of this candle a little bit higher, as in a little bit more stretched as far as, is this really a weekly reversal candle? I don't know. We'll know soon. Keep in mind though, just because it's a weekly reversal candle doesn't mean that the price can't come all the way back up here and run a test of the high of that candle. And if it does, that would provide a nice short opportunity, because a lot of times we see these reversal candles and then we see the back test of the reversal candle. That's just looking at the candle, but keep in mind this is an indefinite uptrend above all three moving averages. So you never know. We saw this in the IWM recently, where it was a huge reversal candle, and since then price ran up and then traded sideways and then broke out. So both things to kind of be aware of. Is this a good place to go long? I would like to buy this thing personally. I would be looking to buy right at or below, intraday below the 20 period moving average on a daily chart. And the reason why is because sometimes we'll see price fall below the 20 and then go right back above it and close out to be not so bearish. But again, if you're in this trade, there's no reason to sell. It doesn't, to me, look like it, getting below $76 would, maybe you could consider selling it if it got below $76. Keeping in mind, we'd be getting close to support. Hope that's not all a tongue twister. JMIA. This thing, the funny thing is I haven't actually traded this. I've been hearing a lot about this. I haven't personally traded this. First thing I see is it could be a possible head and shoulders pattern, and I don't really like to trade those because they're not, I don't know, they're not exactly the most convincing patterns. And so I'll do this. It makes it a little bit more clear. You could put a neckline in here and say, well, if it trades below the neckline, then you can start targeting prices down here to make this somewhat symmetrical from the head down through the neckline to the next head. So I don't know. That's, anyway, as far as what do I see right now, what I see is we close right on the 20 period moving average. And so if I zoom in just a little bit here and pull this up, it now becomes a little bit more, to me, it looks a little bit more bullish than it does bearish, only for the reason that it found support, bounced off of support. It put in what, maybe a breakout candle, came into some resistance, and now it looks like it's consolidating just underneath resistance, meaning that the more it consolidates underneath resistance, the more likely it is to gap above resistance or simply just to trade through intraday. If you're long already, again, there's no reason to sell. Maybe raise your stop loss up here to 34.50, depending on what kind of trader you are. If you're a longer term or a swing trader, I'm personally a swing trader, so I would just keep raising my stop loss up a little bit. Okay, let's go to the next one. PLTR. We traded this a while back, or I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Definitely like this pattern. It's a lot more bullish than it is bearish. You could almost say that this is a bull flag or a bull wedge, however we would describe this. The thing is it did come down here to support, and we've come down to support one other time here. So it could come down to support again and then break out. We actually saw this pattern in Boeing a while back where it came down to support, it broke through, and then it just took right off. So keep in mind that sometimes they like to trick you. They like to break through support and then right back above. And if that ever happens, also, and I'll say keep in mind 300 times in the video, but if that ever happens in any chart, that actually becomes more of the opposite of what it was originally. So if the buyers show up here and then they push price back up into the flag, that's more bullish than if price simply stayed in the consolidation. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, I hope you got that. For these kind of patterns, I do like to trade them when they break out, not necessarily possibly buy it at support, but I prefer price to break out. You can either do Friday's high, keeping in mind that if you did get through Friday's high, you would have a downsloping resistance line in here. I more prefer to break out of both of them to go long. PLTR, what's the next one? Dish, absolutely love this chart. I see a few things on here. For one, we are into a gap, or possible, depending on where you're drawing your gap from, because you could either draw it from this price right down here, and I could say it's bullish because it's up in the gap, or you could draw it right here, and I would say it's still bullish because this price area is going to want to act as a magnet. If you get up halfway up the gap, and let's say we draw a line right here, if you get up to this purple line and you get above the purple line, I don't want to say it's a guaranteed trade, because we saw this in INTC recently, or a few months ago, where it looked like it wanted to fill the gap, but it was a pretty wide gap. This could just trade sideways, maybe make another higher low, and if it did, I would definitely be attacking this thing to the long side, because I would be eyeing this 35.23 price area up here filling the gap. I would have to say this is more probable up here if you're willing to withstand these kinds of moves, and I don't know how extreme they're going to be, but definitely bullish chart. Let's go to XLU. XLU, I like this setup. I like it off the March lows. I like the way that it rallied off the March low. It's been trading sideways almost ever since. It did break out, and I'm going to draw this little breakout area right through here. And there's several ways you could look at this. It could be, you could say that it broke out of this area up here, and I'm going to zoom in here in a minute to lower time frames. You could also say it broke out of this area right here on the daily chart. These are definitely good buying areas. I have to say, and remember what I was saying about the other chart a couple minutes ago, is that when you see these patterns that are supposed to be really bearish, like this candle right here is a very bearish candle, this is a bearish engulfing, and price immediately gets bought up and then rally right back up to the high of that candle, that's way more bullish than well, definitely more bullish than not. So that's one aspect of looking at this. The other thing is to look at this and say, well, there's a lot of resistance in this area, and so that's why it's having a hard time getting through. The thing is, you could definitely be long against the low of this candle right here, and I'll give you a price. The price is around $61. And by the way, since we're on that, there's also a 200 period moving average in here, which you can't really see under these candles, but the bottom of that green candle is sitting on a 200 period moving average. And so definitely an area that you could go long against. Personally, I like these patterns to break out, so I would want to see it get over resistance before I went long, because it's a pretty sure bet, or I shouldn't say, that's a really bad terminology. It's higher likely than it's not. It's higher likely than it's not once it breaks out to either pull back and take off, or simply just to take off. Either way, it's going to be heading towards much higher prices than these little choppy prices. Let me go down to an intraday time frame so I can show you the other thing that I was looking at. And this is kind of the first thing. I haven't actually looked into these charts. This is just, people sent me these, and I would just want to see what it's doing here. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. So as I was saying before, you kind of see this. I don't know if you would draw this from here or draw it from up here. You could draw 45 trend lines. No matter how you look at it, it broke out and back tested, and that's another way of looking at this. This is the good dip buying opportunity in this price area, especially if I zoomed in a little bit further for all those of you who like to really narrow down your trades and get the best price you can. You see this candle, this bullish candle in here, right? Let me dive right into this. Okay, so you definitely had this breakout, and then you had a higher low, and then you had a breakout right here. Price broke out and it back tested the low of this breakout candle, and it does it over. This is the funny thing of the market. It does this constantly. It's just how do we interpret this, right? And so for me, yeah, this looked a little bit bearish right here on Friday's, the last candle of the day, as far as price couldn't run up into the close. But that doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned. If price stays above this area right here, if you're a lower time frame trader, if price stays above 61.97, it can definitely remain bullish. It just needs a little bit more time before it can break out. Okay, let's get off of that. Okay. AMD. I definitely like this chart, and I did a post on this a while back it was last week or a week and a half ago. Do we really think that that AMD got all the way up to $97.97 and it's not going to get to 100? And this is the thing with trading, like you'll start to see this kind of weird stuff. And I actually have a trend line drawn in here. I don't know when I drew it on there, but I have a trend line drawn in there. So heck, that's a good line. If it gets below that line, then I don't know if the $100 price area is an ideal target. Maybe we would want to wait and see. But as long as price stays above this area, I think that higher prices are more likely than lower prices. Now, if some sort of weird black swan event comes out tonight that I don't know about, and it starts selling off, then there's nothing we can do about that. In fact, if you are in a long trade, I would just keep raising your stop loss up, and I would definitely be eyeing that $100 price area. Oh, what did they do? Okay. AMD. So the next one is Tesla. We had to trade in this a little. I think it was last week or the week before. Maybe it was last week. I don't know. Tesla. The question was, do I think Tesla is in a bubble? I don't know. We're up 1,147% off the lows, and I liked the question. So what you guys saw a glimpse of a minute ago. Let's look at this. So this is the global deliveries in 2020. I'm not a huge Tesla fundamental person, and you guys can all post all the things underneath the video correcting me or some sort of analysis. Global deliveries in 2020, here is Tesla, and it's not really at zero, but it looks like it is. All global automakers. Scroll down a little bit more. Market capitalization in US dollars on December 31st, 2020. 669 billion. Tesla, which I believe is I believe it's well above that now. 654 billion for the rest of the companies, right? Or for these companies anyway, FCA, Ford, Honda, blah, 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 Toyota. So, is it in a bubble? I don't know. We're not going to watch this whole video, but I saw a cool little thing. And actually, this is by Tesla Owners Mexico. Again, we're not going to watch the whole thing, so feel free to let me just scroll through here. Is it playing? It's playing. So you can kind of watch through here. Tesla doesn't come into the picture until later on. I believe it was 2012 or something. Let's see here. Somewhere in there. I don't know. 16, 12, 2012 or 2016. Here's 12. No, 14. No, 15. No. Oh, 16. Oh, I was close. Okay, so Tesla starts coming in here. I'm gonna spare you the next couple years. We're gonna go into 18. It's coming up here. Here's 18. It's in third. Let's scroll forward. 19. 2019 still. 2020, 555.24 billion. And what did we just see a minute ago? It's well above that now. I don't know when the date on this was. Well, this says December 11th, 2020. Okay, so let's go to the next chart. Okay, right here it says Musk has proclaimed that he wants to increase Tesla vehicle sales volume from about 500,000 in 2020 to 20 million annually. Now, I don't know how much credit that has. It's more about proof is in the pudding, right? So if you believe that they're going to do that, maybe that's what the traders are believing right now, that they're going to well and exceed that amount. Actually, how much of the market do we think that Tesla is going to have? Is it 40%? I think it's 60 right now. I think it's 60% in the United States, I believe, but don't take my number for fact because I don't know. But if it does do that 20 million annually, the other question we have to ask ourselves is maybe it's not just about the vehicle sales. Maybe it's about the batteries and fundamentally like we believe in Musk. And so maybe that has something to do with it. I wanted to go through here. There was a couple of things I saw on here, and I won't bore you guys with all this Tesla stuff, but I'll do a video separately on Tesla. I do not currently hold any more Tesla. I'm out of Tesla completely. Model 3 vehicles, 300,000. This is 2019. Top 20 electric vehicles in the world, 2019, Tesla Model 3. And now if I go back down here, now if you believe this, so here's the thing. This was in Tesla vehicle sales quarterly deliveries. This is in 2019. And so it had 100,000. I don't know, maybe that was the fourth quarter of 19. So I don't know where they're at now. I don't know where they stand. I don't know where they're headed. But one thing is for sure, if you looked at this chart, you could say that it's almost doubling, right? It goes from 20,000 to 40,000 in 2 years. Now I don't think they're profitable. I mean, maybe they are now. I think this year they're probably profitable, but it took them 10 years or however many years to become profitable. And maybe some of those the profits were from credits and not actual sales, but who knows? We are definitely looking good as far as long term if you are a Tesla long term holder. But do I believe that there are going to be days that Tesla's down 20%? I do, because it does it over and over again. Just in 2019 or 2020 alone, there were a few times, especially the beginning of 2020, there were a few times that Tesla was down 20% overnight. So keep that in mind if you're willing to hold through that. And if you're an Elliott waiver, I'm not a pro Elliott wave, but I believe we are in the fifth wave right now. So I don't know. Go follow if you find your favorite Elliott waiver. Maybe post their link under the video. Something I noticed when I was scrolling through here. Where's China at? China. Some of these countries, if you look at some of these countries, here's Sweden, Volvo, Kia. If I scroll down here, where's Tesla? Right here, Tesla Model 3. 98 vehicles. That was in February 2020. 98 vehicles. Volvo had 666 vehicles. Go down here. Here's top 20 electric vehicles in Sweden. Tesla comes in at right here, second, 4,214. Looking good and looking good. You go through here's Denmark, and I don't know how relevant any of this is. This is 2019. Tesla 2,439. Top of that one. If I go down here, I saw one in China. Oh, here we go. Here's China electric vehicle sales February 2020. Tesla 2,284. Now I don't know how many vehicle sales they said they were going to do this year, but they have a little bit of work to do. You know, they've got quite a bit of work to do. This is China electric vehicle sales, the light at the end of the tunnel. China electric vehicle sales January through December 2019. Tesla is 29,000 vehicles. So I don't know where that's at as far as what the company said that they would do. I think they're a little bit behind some of the reports that came out last year. They're a little bit behind. I mean, there was a coronavirus going around, so that might be part of it. Where's Neo at? Is Neo on this? Neo. I don't see Neo on here. That doesn't make sense. Did Neo do? Okay, here we go. China electrical vehicle sales, Neo 671. So there's a huge market, right? Huge market for electronic vehicles throughout the world. Absolutely huge market. The question becomes, do you think Tesla is going to outperform all of the other companies? I think right now the traders are saying with this share, with the valuations, traders are saying that Tesla is going to be the only electronic vehicle company, or that they're going to do things like they're going to sell batteries, or their technologies are going to be what puts them over, or they'll come out with new products. So something to keep in mind. So is it in a bubble? I don't know. I don't know. What's the next one? Let's go into PIXY. PIXY, I love this chart. I'm going to try to run through the last few ones since we're running out of time, but PIXY is beautiful. I'm not a huge penny stock trader. It's not that I have anything against them. I'm in love with the broad market. So you could look at this as like maybe it's a bear flag. But another way I look at it is just this is a simple trade as far as if it gets above this price area, you could have a little buy alert in here. If it gets above this price area, you could easily take it to $3.40. I'm going to give you a close price is $3. Let's just say $3. If it starts closing above $3, maybe it'll consolidate a little bit underneath resistance, and then it'll break out, or maybe it'll just turn around and go back down to the bottom of the wedge, which we just drew that little wedge in there, right? Maybe it'll do one of these, pull back one more time. I mean, it's hard to say at this point. What I do know is I'm personally willing to take a long trade at $3 if you can get above $3. Twitter, and then we'll look at one more after Twitter, since we spent so long looking at the Tesla. Twitter, I like this chart, and the thing that I like actually is I like both directions, and I'm going to kind of get into that. If you are considering taking a long trade, this is where it gets a little bit trader's choice. I like that it came down to this price area, and it has so far looked like it put in a reversal candle. I have to urge caution though. It is in a downtrend as far as the last 5 or 6 days go, making lower lows and lower highs. But the bigger picture, taking into consideration the last several months or the last few months or even couple months, is as long as price stays above 46.53, it can be bullish. Yes, it would be below 2 of the moving averages, and it would be in a downtrend as far as from the highs, but it would technically can be bullish. Now, I'm going to say that, and now I'm going to throw you with something else. Another thing that I saw when I very first looked at this chart is I told Mark went ahead and gave me this one Twitter. I said if it gets below the low of Friday, which is $50, around $50, I'm willing to take a short. I'm willing to short that down to, I would first be eyeing, well, I don't want to get greedy. I'd first be eyeing in this area, and I'll give you a price, $48. And then I would maybe book half the profit at 48, take the other half at 46, unless you're a longer term type trader or shorter term time frame. But my trigger would be breaking below the low of that daily chart candle. And the funny thing is, in after hours, I noticed that the bid and the ask are already below 50. So we'll see what it is tomorrow. We could see a little bit of consolidation in here. If it begins to trade sideways, I would more likely be taking a short than I would be going long. Because when you want to see a back test coming off the highs, you want to see it back test. As soon as it hits the buying opportunity, you want it to immediately take off. If it doesn't and it starts consolidating, then it's most likely heading lower. So something to keep an eye out, something to watch. Let's take a look at the hourly. Hourly, same thing. Be a little bit cautious about trading it in the hole, although I think that would be a phenomenal trigger below $50. I would definitely see a lot lower prices in here. So keep that in mind. Would I be a buyer if we got back above 52.58? And that's why I said I like that chart for both reasons. If we got above 52, let's say 52.70, I would definitely be a buyer. Below $50, short. Dkng. And I'm not sure what, feel free to post on the video, Mark. Let me know what your price targets were for that. Last one. Dkng, we took this thing long back here on 1030 around this price area back here. So that's something to keep an eye on as far as if this comes back down to support. I don't know how many times it can fall to support without it falling through, but I do know that recently we had this bounce around 44.20. It's putting in a bullish pattern. It's above all 3 moving averages, so there's no reason to sell it. We're definitely coming into a little bit of resistance right now, and that is, I'll give you a price here in a minute, but this whole area is actually resistance. So would I go long on this? There's 2 ways that I would go long. A is I would wait for price to consolidate a little bit in here and then maybe do a higher low and then go long on that dip, or wait for it to break through resistance. Would actually give you the highest probability setup would be breaking through resistance of 55, let's say $55. That's it for this video. Thank you guys. Feel free to like the video if you gained value. Leave a comment if you would like, and we'll see you in the next video.